I'm afraid it hasn't been working very well, but I shall try to do my best. So this is hello, good evening, and welcome to the class of 2025. Welcome to the Glenwood Springs Freshman Transition Night. Even if this evening goes perfectly, I think that by the end, you will understand a little better why online teaching is just not as good as being in person. Now, I'm someone who forgets to switch on my microphone when it should be on, and I forget to switch it off when it should be off. So I'll just ask you all to switch off your microphones, because the background noise will interfere with the presentation. You probably all know that better than I do. And it might be helpful if you have your camera turned off, because I think that will help with bandwidth. So if you're wondering where you are, you're at the Glenwood Springs High School Freshman Transition Night. If you were expecting, I don't know, Monday night football, you're in the wrong place. You will have questions. It's great that you do. We thrive on questions. Questions make us think. But this isn't the format, unfortunately, where you can just chip in. So there is a chat box. I think you'll be able to find that. Hope you will. Pat Engel will be monitoring the questions, and we might make an attempt to try to answer them as we go along. But in the end, we're also going to post questions and answers in a Q&A document. Now, this would be the point to check that we're recording this meeting. There's a little red light on, so I think it means that we are indeed recording. If you enjoy this meeting so much that you want to watch it again, well, you will be able to. But if you run into a friend who says, "Oh, I missed the meeting," bear in mind that there will be another meeting, but also that this meeting will be recorded. So this is the agenda for the evening. We've got 7 items. We're not sure how long this meeting will last, but it's certainly going to end no later than 7:20, because we have another version in Spanish later. And let me introduce to you some of the people who are hovering in the background, some of whom will have roles tonight. We have the 2 assistant principals, and this team has been together, myself and the 2 assistant principals, for more than 10 years, Gayla Rowe and Pat Engel. We have 3 of our 4 counsellors, Cindy Pittenger, Leslie Warren, and Jocelyn Koshevar. Some years ago, we were concerned that our provision for guiding students into college was not as strong as it needed to be. And at that point, we took one of our counsellors, Jill Kelly Anson, and put her back in the classroom. She actually runs 2 one-semester classes devoted to preparing students for college and career. We have Craig Denny, our esteemed athletic director, and 2 teachers who are endowed with special powers, Linda Floor and Megan Hartman. If you had to sum up what it is that we're about at Glenwood Springs High School, is that we're in the business of changing students' real life chances. And what that means is our aim is to provide an education for all Glenwood Springs students, which will be better than any other school in the country that you could attend. That's our aim. Now, this is where the presentation may get a little more technical than I can manage. So wish me luck as I try to transition to the next thing, which is a video we recorded. I'd like to object to the fact that the person who put this still frame on the screen caught me looking like a goldfish. I know you did that deliberately, not accidentally. So let's see if we can get into the video. Freshmen. Or soon to be freshman. I just want to explain that normally I'm wearing a mask. For this video, I am not wearing a mask. It's going to help with the recording. And my colleagues who are helping me, we've all been fully vaccinated, and they're all comfortable with me being unmasked in their presence. Don't try this at home. Well, actually, you can try it at home. So there was a time in your life when you were truly happy. You've just been born. Do you remember that? All you had to do was lie around, drinking milk, and filling up your diapers. You learned to walk.
Hey, I'm sorry.
You discovered how much fun it was to destroy your house and your car. Happy days. I'm going to pause there. Right, so it's me that's doing the technical thing. I've got to mute, have I? Thank you.
You're not muted still, Paul.
No, I've got to get into the other screen.
You are now muted. You're good.
Freshman, or soon to be freshman, I just look at this piece of string. Don't pay attention to the announcements, and you even refused to walk. You discovered how much fun it was to destroy your house and your car. Happy days. Then, one miserable morning, you were woken with some terrible words. Today, you are going to school. No, Mama, no, don't make me go. I hope I can edit this. You cried. You even refused to get dressed, which only meant that you showed up for the first day at kindergarten totally naked. And so the years passed. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, and on, year after year, 8th grade. Will this never end?
Paul, will you pause for a moment?
Is that a buffering problem?
No, someone had accidentally taken over presenting. I think if you... I'm trying to think of how to fix this. It still says presentation, Paul Freeman. It's just not big. There it goes. You're good to go now. Press play again.
This piece of string, this represents how long you were alive before you went to school. That's quite a long piece of string. Now, look at this piece of string. Don't pay attention to the announcements in the background. This knot is the day you started school. So many years. And this knot is today. And this is how much time you are going to be at GSHS. 4 more years. And then what happens after school? College, work. How long is that? Check this out. Years, years and years and years of work. Look at it all. So have you got that? You're born, you start school, this is all school. This is the 4 years of high school. This, follow me, is your working life. But it gets worse. After work, you will be retired. How long is that? My father lived until he was 95. So this is retirement. Joins the end of work. You'll have to pull it through to the end. That's it. It goes on so far, you can't even see it. So, suddenly, it looks as though 4 years is not very much time at all. The more you put in to the next 4 years, the better the next 70 years will be. Okay, so some of you are now crying, I've only got 4 years. So I'm going to give you the secret to high school success. Show up. That's it. But I really do mean show up. Go to every class on time and give it a good shot. Get your homework done. We'll even give you time in your school day to help get most of that homework done. There is almost no known case of a student who did what they were asked from lesson 1 and every other lesson actually failing the class. You will only fail school if you get totally in your own way. And I just want to finish by saying we've been hearing about this group of students, about how great you are, about how smart you are. We're really looking forward to working with you. It's 4 years, but it's really going to fly by. Okay, I promised you technical difficulties. I delivered technical difficulties. I keep my promises. Can someone tell me, do we still have the slideshow up?
No, the slideshow is not there. It should be a separate tab.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're back there. I think we're
Perfect.
back there. Okay, so I mentioned Jocelyn Kochevar a few moments ago, one of our counsellors. I am now going to hand over to her while I attempt to mute myself. Thank you, Mrs. Kochevar.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I just want to tell you a little bit about kind of what to expect on a day-to-day basis at GSHS and what your schedule will look like. So on the next slide, you'll see our bell schedule.
Paul, next slide.
Whoever's switching slides, please. Thank you. And you'll see on the schedule on the top, we will start every day at 8:30. And on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will have 72-minute classes, and we will be finished with the day at 3:30. You'll have 5 class periods per day. The only exception to this is Wednesdays. Wednesdays will still begin at 8:30, but we have early release, so we'll be done at 2:10, and the classes will be slightly shorter. The other thing that's going to be pretty different for most of you coming into the high school is that you don't have the same classes every day. The next slide will show an example of what we call our red-white schedule. This red-white schedule is actually from this year. We don't have next year's created quite yet, but you can see that the days that are highlighted in red, we call them red days, you will have periods 1 through 5 for a red day. And then on the next day, you'll have your white 1 through 5. And so essentially you'll have every class every other day, with the exception of freshman math. Algebra 1 will be every day, but all the rest of your classes will be every other day, which means you have 2 nights to do your homework, an extra night to get help if you need help. But it's quite different, and it might sound complicated, but I promise you'll catch on really, really quickly.
Thank you, Jocelyn. One of the, I loved high school for many reasons, but one important reason was athletics. And I hope Craig Denny is here because he's going to tell us more about the high school athletics program.
Hi, everyone. I am Craig Denny. I am the athletic director and have been for a long, long time, almost to the point of being AD longer than your incoming freshmen have been alive. Another year, and I think I'll be there. So anyway, welcome to Glenwood Springs and welcome to our athletic program. We, as it says on the slide, we offer 19 sports throughout the year, and it is a busy, busy time. It's amazing how many kids we have in our programs. This year we'll have over 600 athletes throughout the year, even in a shortened COVID year. And those athletes are obviously required to meet some certain criteria and a certain standard in terms of eligibility. We are an educationally based athletic program, as every high school in our state is, and we really follow through with that. We want our kids to get out, being able to function and continue in education after high school. I can promise you this, your child will make more money by doing well in the classroom than they will on the athletic field or court. And that's just a given. Roughly right now, about 7% of all high school athletes are able to go on and play at the collegiate level. About 2% go on to play Division I, where quote unquote the big money is in terms of scholarship. So please understand, we want our kids to win. That is our goal, but that is not our purpose. And our purpose is to make sure that our students are the best students that they can be. And as such, they will be held to a higher standard in terms of just keeping up with their grades, turning work in on time, and doing the things that we expect them to do. What I would ask is that sometime in the next few days, you can go to our athletic website, which is gsdemonsports.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a little button that says Notify Me. If you will click on that, you will be able to register for notifications for any sport that your son or daughter is in and is going to play. And those can be adjusted at any time. But it's a great way for us to be able to notify you of changes and things going on. We will put that, if you'll register in the next few days, this summer, we will let you know through that when our online registration is open. And again, online registration can be accessed through gsdemonsports.com. In the top bar, you'll see the athletic registration. Obviously, things change all the time with COVID right now. We're hoping next fall that everything will be much more normal. I'm sure there'll be some things we'll still have to deal with, but compared to this year, hopefully it won't be too bad. Paul, if you go to the next slide real quickly. So here are the sports we offer. I'll let you take a gander at them. The bottom, softball, boys golf, and boys tennis are all offered through Basalt High School in the fall. The one thing I forgot to mention is that girls lacrosse is offered through Roaring Fork High School in the spring. And our kids are able to go and play at those schools because we do not offer those programs at our high school. So if they're interested in playing those, we can get them in touch with those schools. The first season begins August 9th. And if you're wanting to play boys golf, it's going to start August 2nd. There might be some changes as we go through the summer. So please, again, sign up at GS Demon Sports. We're looking forward to having you here. It's, again, kids who participate in athletics and extracurriculars. I will push that too. I think extracurriculars are great. I was the president of my band in high school, which not many people know. And I was involved in drama and musicals, and all of those things help our students do better in school. It keeps them more focused, and they don't have a lot of free time to go out and just hang out. So get your son or daughter involved in those things, in all of our clubs, all of our extracurriculars, and our athletics. It's nice to meet everybody. I've actually got to go get ready for another meeting with our preseason meeting with our track coach and parent. So have a good evening, and thanks for coming.
Thanks very much, Craig. I'm going to hand over now to one of the assistant principals, Mr. Engel. I have to mention that Pat Engel is also our football coach, and he coached our team to its first victory over Rifle in, I believe, 10 years. So he's made us very happy.
Well, if I can only continue to make you happy, that will be my goal. What I'd like to talk to you about right now is how your student will be introduced to Glenwood Springs High School physically. And what we'll do for your students when August rolls around is on Thursday, August 12th, beginning at 8 a.m. And this is something that all the families should mark on their calendars. 8 a.m. to 12 noon is what we call Link Crew, and we do a Link Crew orientation. At that time, the students, our incoming freshmen, will be introduced to Glenwood Springs High School, introduced to many of the traditions at Glenwood Springs High School, and in many ways we'll do, I think you guys would all be very familiar with the word crew. We'll do many crew type activities to ease the transition from middle school to high school. And regardless of if you are from an in-district school or an out-of-district school, this is one of those nights that is or mornings, excuse me, that is a can't miss type morning. I will tell you that there is absolutely no way that we can replicate the experience, because there will be about 250 kids involved in this, and it's just a very energetic and just kind of a fun morning. And in the afternoon on the 12th, the freshmen will be led through what we call processing days, or the processing time, where the students will receive their schedules. They will verify information that we have in Infinite Campus. If possible, they'll check their health information. We'll do school pictures. Chromebooks will be issued. And it's really, really important that your student is at Glenwood Springs High School on Thursday, April 12th. And as I said before, the orientation begins at 8 a.m. And will last until noon. I believe that we will feed your student as well. Normally we do a pizza lunch or something like that. And then beginning at noon and from noon to 3, the students will then be taken through processing days. More information will be forthcoming in a mailer this summer, but it's just one of those early hints and or early tips that we want to get on your calendars. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Pat. And don't worry about remembering everything, because you will hear this information many more times. And a very good source of information is the school website. You have to be a little bit careful as you track down the website, because over the years, different groups have started their own Glenwood Springs High School website, so it can be a bit confusing. This is the web address for the genuine Glenwood Springs High School website. We publish regular newsletters. We put quite a lot of information on Facebook, but please remember that we don't respond to questions on Facebook. Facebook is not monitored as a communications device. We still have telephones. Teachers have telephones in their office, and of course they have email addresses. So we urge you, if you have a question for a teacher, to contact that teacher. That's an absolutely reasonable thing to do. And of course, you can also contact our office staff, our athletic director, our administrators. All those telephone numbers are available on the website, or you can just come through the office. A word about Psat. I have a horrible feeling I've missed a slide here. Someone tell me if I have. Why do I single out Psat, the SAT? It's because it's the SAT score has now become important for graduation, in that to graduate from Glenwood Springs High School, you need a minimum score. So the good news is that there's plenty of practice, and students at Glenwood Springs High School will, in their freshman year, almost immediately, or at least in October, on entering the school, get their first chance to practice with what's called the Psat test. And we will keep you in touch at every stage with what your Psat scores are and what your predicted SAT scores are, so that when you get to the junior year, when the state SAT has to be taken, that it won't be a big surprise to you. GSHS is actually an outstanding school. We have outstanding teachers, and the community from which our students are drawn is a major contributor to our success. And in the US News database, Glenwood Springs High School is ranked 1,507 out of 24,000 high schools. That is pretty impressive. And in terms of ranking for the way in which we prepare students for college, we're ranked 491 in the country. So you can be reassured that when your child comes to Glenwood Springs High School, they will get a good education. And students, you can be reassured that we are going to be standing beside you every step of the way to make sure that you achieve your potential. And now Gayla Rowe is going to tell you about another important event where you'll be getting more information, the back to school evening. Whoops. Oh, there we go. Oh, actually, am I doing this as I think I'm doing this as a video.
Welcome, 8th graders, soon to be 9th graders, Glenwood Springs High School. My name is Gayla Rowe. I'm one of the assistant principals.
Mute yourself,
I'm
Paul.
here to talk to you about back to school night. Usually we do an 8th grade night that tonight is taking place of the 8th grade night, but what we'll incorporate into our back to school night when we come back in August is exactly what we would do at 8th grade night. We'll bring all of our clubs and activities, we'll bring athletics, we'll bring tours to Glenwood Springs High School, and then also parents will be able to meet teachers and staff from Glenwood Springs High School. At this moment, we have a to be determined date, but we'll get that out to everybody as soon as we come back in August. We can't wait to see everybody. Thank you. Welcome, 8th graders.
Okay, that brings the evening to an end. Thank you so much for joining us. I started by saying you would perhaps understand why we are not big enthusiasts for online education. Why we much prefer to have things in real life. We believe that we will be back to that kind of normal encounter in the fall. Your questions have been gathered. They will be answered in writing, and that Q&A sheet will appear on the website. There is a recording has been made of this evening, and that too will be available on the website. We will keep this presentation open for a few more minutes to allow you the opportunity to write your questions in the chat. It only remains for me to say good night and enjoy the rest of the evening. We're looking forward to seeing all the freshmen in the new year.